Shawn Good is the head coach of the Christiansburg Blue Demons. Blue Demons in their second state semi in as many years against Potomac Falls. Coach Good shares his thoughts on his team, breaks everybody down from A to Z, and more. It's Shawn Good on the Sports Buffet Podcast.
Always fun on the Sports Buffet Podcast to catch up with the head coach of the Christiansburg Blue Demons, Shawn Good. I had a chance to catch up with him last year in person after the Blue Demons beat EC Glass, and that put them in the state semifinals. Now they beat another Seminole District team and get to another state semifinal. But, Coach, I know you want the game against Potomac Falls to go a little differently this time. Before we talk about that, though, let's talk about the victory against Amherst. Aside from the W, what did you guys do well?
I think we played defense pretty well. The kids played hard. They played hard all season. I think we, stopped them on most possessions from getting even second shots. And I think that was probably the key to winning that game, other than the last second shot. But I think our defensive intensity, it wore them down just a little bit.
Mark Hanks one time told me that when they played a few teams, that team had a lot of good football players, and they weren't intimidated because they had that Friday night lights in them, so to speak. I know you've got a lot of kids that were very good on the football field as well, and especially Mr. Motley. Are you not worried in terms of no stage is going to scare my guys, per se?
I'm not going to say I'm not worried. It's a totally different game. It's a different skill set. But, I do have confidence that they know what it takes, just because they've been in a state championship game before that in football, and they've been to the state semifinal game in basketball. So I think the toughness in football is going to show itself a little bit, as well as their experience.
You guys have had a very successful year. Give me the 2 or 3 key ingredients that get you guys through, and if you guys are doing them, you feel pretty good about what's going to happen for Christiansburg.
I think if we're pressuring the basketball and forcing turnovers and hitting the offensive and defensive boards, I think, that those are our keys to really being successful as a basketball team. And if we can do those things, we stand a good shot of winning the game.
When you look at the VHSL state program, you see Christiansburg with a 20-2 record in the regular season, more ups than downs. What would you say maybe is the turning point of this season for you guys so far?
I would have to say it was the loss against Cave Spring. It was our first district loss of the season, and we just didn't play hard that game. We didn't play smart. We were selfish, and we thought that a couple guys on our team were the only guys that could win the game for us. So I think we learned a lot from that, and since that time we've been more effective at sharing the basketball and understanding that anybody on our team can make a big shot. I mean, just like Saturday night, Jordan Price hits a big shot for us. So we learned a lot from that loss.
When you guys came back in the locker room after that Cave Spring loss, was that Coach Good telling them that everybody was selfish, or did the senior leaders pretty much realize that, was it a senior leader type lecture, or did Coach Good give some home truths?
I don't know what they talked about. I gave them a little time before I came in there to talk to them, and, I don't know if they were arguing or upset or not even saying anything, but, when I got in there, I just wanted to make sure they understood why we lost the game. And it was Coach Good telling them that this was selfish. We had guys that weren't sharing the basketball, and we can't win games that way.
How well prepared did you feel for what was going to be going on in Richmond last year, and how much better prepared do you feel this year for a state semifinal experience in terms of what you can do to prepare the kids?
Right. Last year, I don't think we were prepared at all. We were expecting something else from Potomac Falls. I had a few video cuts of their games, and they never played zone, so we didn't really prepare much for a zone. And then they came out and played zone against us, and we were kind of a little shell shocked in the beginning. And this year, I'm expecting zone. They might play man, but I'm going to work on both of those. It's kind of difficult when you only have one day to practice as opposed to 2. But I think the kids know what it takes more, and I think that'll be better for us in the end.
How tough is it to get kind of get adjusted to a 9 o'clock game on a Tuesday night? If I'm not mistaken, last year I think you played a Wednesday morning game or an early game the day you did play. But how tough is it to go 9 on Tuesday?
I think we're used to that. We've played a lot of late games, especially here in the region. And in the state quarterfinal, we had an 8 o'clock game, and we normally practice 7:30 to 9 or 9:30 on school night. So, we're used to being up and around at that time and active on the course, so it shouldn't affect us too much.
If you guys get past Potomac Falls, what do you know about the other side of the bracket with Heritage and Grafton?
I know a little bit about Heritage. I've seen them play a couple times since, they're from Lynchburg, and they played Amherst and Hidden Valley the other night. And now, as far as Grafton, I have no idea what they have, so hopefully if we can come away with the victory Tuesday, we might be able to hang around some on Wednesday and watch a little bit of the Grafton and Heritage game so I can at least get a feel for them, and then maybe later on in the week get some video and try to figure out a game plan for them.
At this point in the season, how important is scouting, and how important is it, let's be worried about what we do type of thing?
I think scouting is big, but it's not, a thing where you're trying to figure out what kind of sets they run. You're just more trying to figure out what defense they play and what their top 3 or 4 players do and how to keep them from doing what they do well within our scheme on defense. So it's more of what we do and how we're going to do it against the opponents.
How much easier has scouting become with, kind of the social media, YouTube, articles all over the place, people talk on Facebook and or Twitter. How much easier does that make your job to filter in, what's good info and what's not good info?
I think it all helps. I don't really go off of opinion. You can find stats on just about everybody anywhere because, newspapers keep track of them. And then you can even go on YouTube. I actually went on YouTube and watched a little bit of Potomac Falls highlights from Saturday night. So it helps out a lot. I mean, it makes things a little easier as far as coming up with statistics. But you still, I think, need some game film, and that's harder to get, especially when teams are so far away. So it helps, but you still need some films to watch and kind of figure out how the kids play.
What differences do you see in this Potomac Falls group as opposed to the one you saw last year?
Just what little bit I've seen, they rely more on Graves. This year, I believe they don't have Mihalovic out there, who is, a guy that can score at will, can attack the basket. I think they missed that a little bit, but they're going to have guys that can shoot the ball. They're going to be smart. They're not going to turn the ball over that much, so it's not going to be easier because Mihalovic is there. It's just a little different attack that they have than in the past.
I want to talk about your personnel, but before we do, what was the mindset of your football guys when you finally got them day one this year? Obviously, they would have loved to have had a ring, but just didn't come to be in football. What was their mindset once they hit the hardwood?
They were ready. They were ready to go. Most of those kids play AAU basketball, so they're basketball players as well as football players in the summertime. So they were ready to get at it and try to, do their best in basketball. They were excited, a little bit sore, but ready to go, and had the mindset that they were trying to win as many games as possible.
Would you say Christiansburg has football players playing basketball or basketball players that play football?
I'd say the majority of the guys are basketball players that play football. Then I think there's about 2 or 3 that are football players that play basketball. So, but I think when these kids were maybe in the 5th and 6th grade, they were playing AAU together on the same team here in Christiansburg. So, they probably played sandlot football, but they were still traveling and playing a higher level of competition in basketball.
I'm going to go down the roster now of the Blue Demons. You just kind of give me your opinion on whatever kid I ask about or so forth. Pretty much you got the keys to the car right now. And we'll start with And if I mispronounce any names, obviously, please correct me as well. We'll start off with number 1, 5'8" senior guard Darius Kelly.
D is what we call him. D is a little spark plug for us. He's tough, an aggressive defender, can shoot the deep three, and, is really the guy that I count on to make sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to.
Number 2, a 5'9" senior guard Ben Stipes.
Ben Stipes is now the backup. He was the starter, then he broke his nose, and then D. Kelly came in, and D's been doing a great job for us, but Ben is also a floor general that makes sure everybody is in their spot, a guy that I can have on the floor and know that when something's not working, he's going to let me know and has the green light to run any type of set and any type of play that we have, and we'll pressure the basketball well.
Number 3, a 5'11" senior guard Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson kid's got 3 lungs, endless amount of energy, can shoot the ball, aggressive, attacking the basket, and we normally put him on the team's best guard. He's guarded some tough players throughout the season and always challenges, gets a hand up, and plays hard. If I had him out there for 32 minutes, you wouldn't even know that he was tired.
Number 4, a 5'11" senior guard Jordan Price.
Jordan Price is a kid off the bench that is can be exciting, can rebound, can shoot the three, can penetrate and finish at the rim. Good free throw shooter, and brings a big spark off the bench for us. And he won the game for us the other night, so we count on him for a lot of plays during the game.
Number 5, a 5'6" junior guard Aaron Velarde.
Aaron Velarde is a quick kid. This is his first year on varsity. Came from JV last year, so he's still trying to learn the varsity game, but is very quick, has a good shot, and really plays hard when he gets out there on the floor.
Number 11, a 5'10" sophomore guard Josh Moore.
Josh Moore, the kid's got a nice jump shot. He plays, gets a few minutes here and there. This is his first year on varsity as well, and is learning a lot about what we try to do on defense, and is finding and has found a way to score in the mid-range game. Got a nice mid-range jump shot, and always gives it his best every single time he steps out there on the court.
Lucky 13, a 6'3" senior forward Zach Davis.
Zach Davis is one of those guys that does anything and everything he can to try to win a basketball game. Rebounds, steals. I think he's averaging about 2.5 steals a game, 9-10 rebounds, and 16 points. So he's a loose ball guy, guy that we stick on the front of the press just to harass people at any given opportunity, and also gives it 100% every time he steps out there.
Number 20, a 5'11" senior forward Zach Snell.
Zach Snell is our other dirty work guy. He's the guy that'll set solid screens, will rebound the basketball, can score inside, and also draws the toughest forward. He's not real big, but he's got the heart of a lion, and will go out there and do anything, run through a brick wall if you ask him to.
Number 22, a sophomore forward Kendall Smith.
Didi is another kid that this is his first year on varsity, and then still trying to figure things out. Got a nice, smooth game. Looking forward to next year with him, but he's got a great upside to him. He's growing and plays hard, and is starting to understand what he can do on the court, and when he gets a chance, he can score the basketball.
Number 23, a sophomore forward Joey Augustin.
Joey Augustine is a very athletic wing kid. Unfortunately, he's got to guard some bigger guys, but he's long enough, athletic enough to do that. Can score effectively, drive to the basket, and also a great defender. And he's another guy that'll guard a 6'7" guy. He'll guard a 5'10" guy. It doesn't matter the size of the kid. He'll go out there and compete.
A 6'5" senior forward, number 24, Brendan Motley, who probably doesn't need a lot of introduction.
Brendan has got a very smooth game. It's like he's probably a little older than the other guys. The things are just so much slower for him when he gets out there, and that's just the experience, I think, of playing 4 years on varsity that he's gotten, and can score inside, he can score outside, great free throw shooter, great three-point shooter, and a guy that's averaging about 3 steals a game and 7-8 rebounds, so he does pretty much anything and everything for us.
if he really wanted to, I take it he could probably play basketball at the next level.
Yeah, I believe so. I think he could, but it's a little different. It would require a lot of work and a lot of time in the gym. And I think football is a natural game for him, especially playing the quarterback position. So,
number 40. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well. I think he'll do well in football, though.
No, I don't find many people that will disagree with that. Number 40, 5'10", senior forward, John Galante.
John is a kid. This is his first year playing basketball, so he is still learning a lot. But the kid plays hard, strong, athletic kid that can give us problems in practice. When he gets in the game, he can run the floor. He can defend some post players because of his strength, and has been a great kid to have around this season.
What's normally your impression when you hear a senior is going to come out for the first time?
I don't really know what to think. I've never seen him play. I want to know why he didn't come out the last 2 or 3 years. What is the reason you decided to come out this year? But I give everybody a shot. And I'm up front with them, telling them, you're probably not going to play a lot this year, or you might play a lot this year. But I make sure they know before they decide to stay around, and he decided to stay around, even though I knew he wasn't going to get a lot of minutes.
A 5'8", guard, number 44, Irvin Buchanan.
Irvin Buchanan's a big, strong kid. He's probably 230, somewhere around there. A smart basketball player, a tough defender. Sometimes he's got to guard a lot of guys that are 6'2", 6'3", so they're much bigger than he is, and he's able to hold his own down there in the paint. And sometimes he can run the point position. He understands every position on the court better than I think most of the kids on the team. So he's a good kid to have around and plays hard.
And finally, 55, Tanner Caden, a 6-foot sophomore forward.
Tanner Caden's another sophomore that this is his first year on varsity, but I had to keep him on the varsity just because of his ability to shoot the ball. He's a great free throw shooter, one of our best 3-point shooters, not real tall, and he's got to play the forward position, so it's a little tough on defense, but he plays as hard as he can and will fight for rebounds. We used to call him sticky fingers because the ball just seems to find a way into his hands.
I've heard a lot of people say, we try to make practices just as hard, if not harder, than games. Talk about the competitiveness of a normal Christiansburg practice.
It's always competitive. The guys are talking and trying to get the best. Somebody gets dunked on, and then the other kids coming back trying to do the same thing to somebody else. And when you separate the starting five and put them guys on different teams, the level of practice just raises to game-like situations. So it's a lot of fun to be in practice with that type of group.
And, I take it, too, it's important for some of these guys that we talked about that may not get major minutes, but, hey, if they don't work you guys in practice, that's how they kind of help the team. Talk about the mentality of that.
Yeah, I think the guys have done a great job. Those guys that don't get a lot of minutes, they come to practice every day and compete and try to make themselves better as well as everybody else better. So it's important to have those kind of guys. I think in football they might call them scout teams.
Right.
But, I think we play enough bodies in most games that, if they're working hard in practice, we'll try to get 12 guys in the game so they know they've got a shot that if they practice hard and compete, that they might get a chance to play in the next game. And I think that keeps them focused every practice.
Final thing, Coach, definitely appreciate your time. Look forward to doing this again much more in the future. Give me 2 or 3 keys that if you guys do, you could very well be holding a trophy around 11:30 next Saturday night.
I think one would be win the rebound wars. I'm not looking for anybody to shoot well there in the Siegel Center, so there's going to be a lot of long rebounds. And if we can win that battle, and I know the first game that's a crucial point. If we can win that battle, then we stand a chance. And the other is making free throws. If we can shoot about 67 to 70% from the line, I think that'll help us on our pursuit towards the championship.
Coach, best of luck, and we'll see you in Richmond.
Thank you. I appreciate it.